My name is Halbert Senne. I have run the Senne Ferry crossing for 22 years. Not the work itself now, mostly the ledger, but for the first 15 I was the one in the boat. I want to tell you what happened when old Darak Yethmore came to the crossing in March. I should explain Darak Yethmore before I explain anything else. Darak is 81 years old, travels with a stick, and has been the most respected tree consultant in the Eastern Corridor for the better part of 40 years. He knows old-growth timber stands by their individual trees. He knows which clans have managed which sections of corridor forest for how many generations. He has been saying for most of my lifetime that the Vethmar Reach stands are the finest northern managed forest in 3 counties and that whoever manages them has earned the particular kind of respect that only comes from getting a forest right across generations. In March, Darak came to the ferry crossing to take passage north. He is too old to walk the valley road, so the ferry was the practical choice. At the crossing, he saw Karra. Karra is an orc woman who has been at the Aldermere settlement for 4 years. She works mostly on the North Ridge tree assessment. She came here with no stated credentials other than that she could do the work, and over 4 years of work that has been sufficient. My brother Luce took her on in the first season, and has not regretted it once. She keeps the Northern Ridge assessment records more precisely than they've been kept in 30 years. I know that because Luce told me, and Luceux doesn't say things he doesn't mean. Karra was at the crossing that morning because she had supplies to ferry north for the spring assessment. She was loading the ferry skiff, quiet as she usually is, not particularly paying attention to anything except the freight balance. Darak stopped walking when he saw her. He was across the yard, 20 feet, maybe, and he stopped and looked at her for a moment. Then he said, "Excuse me." Karra looked up. Darak said, "Are you from the Vethmar Reach?" Karra said after a moment, "My mother's family managed the north section." Darak took off his hat. He said, "Your mother's family has managed those stands for 4 generations. I have written about that forest in every report I have produced in 40 years. The Northern Reach corridor is what it is because of work done by your family before you were born." Karra was very still for a moment. Darak said, "I did not know there was family working in this county. I am glad to know it." Karra said something I could not fully hear from where I was standing. I was at the ledger table on the far side of the yard. She said it quietly, but she was looking directly at Darak. Darak nodded once, with the courtesy of a man who has been in forests his whole life and knows the weight of what has been built. Then he continued to the ferry. I did not say anything to Karra that morning. I thought about it. I decided she might prefer that I leave it as her own. But I was at the ledger, and I saw her face in the moment after Darak took off his hat, and I want to tell you what that looked like. It looked like someone who has been carrying a thing quietly for a long time, and then someone named the thing out loud, with respect, and the weight of it shifted slightly. Not relieved, not vindicated, not hurt and now healed. Just a moment of being seen for what you come from, by someone who has no reason to pretend it matters, and every reason to mean it. Darak Yethmore, 81 years old, hat in his hand, naming a forest. Karra finished loading the ferry skiff. She went north to do the assessment. She came back 3 days later with the most complete spring ridge report I have seen in 10 years of reading those reports. I told Luce. Luce said, "That's what she does." I know. I was just glad that morning in March to have been at the ledger table.